dating in and of itself, it's a very gray space when it comes to a Christian, because it's like you need to definitely have the aspect of whoever you're pursuing intentionally, I'm going to marry them. Because outside that context, in a more secular setting, it's just dating is just the way of life. It's like if we get married, great. If not, it's not an end goal. Cohabitation, huge thing, right? Like it's just what's normal now. But that's kind of like a big thing to any person going into that kind of phase. It's like knowing when you are interested in somebody, confirming that, whether you're the female or the male, and being like, yo, kind of like you. I mean, I'm not going to say it's like an infatuation. I don't want you to like go off the roof. I would encourage you to like, cause I've been burned that way, hopping the gun where I'm like, oh man, I really like her. And then there's the girl, and I'm thinking like we're probably at the same pace, but then I realize like I'm kind of ahead emotionally on like with this relationship, and then I get burnt, and I'm like, yo, she wasn't that far ahead. So you overcommit, but like gradually being like, okay, talk to myself. I have an invested interest in her or him, right? Not saying her, I'm her. I'm speaking for both parties.
We didn't talk about this. Wait, what's going on?
No, nothing. But that being said, I'm invested in them, but at the same time, I want to get to know them first. The friendship comes first. Like I want to develop that. But at the same time, at some point, you just have a conversation like, hey, I'm interested in you. And that's a whole nother level of confidence, right? That you have to learn and gain and be like, yo, I just want to get your thoughts. You might not like me now. You might not. You might not. If you want to keep it that way, that's fine. Like, because part of it could be emotional. The other part could be just season. It's like, I'm just not in this season of dating. And I've had those kinds of experiences where it's been very cordial, not heartbreaking situations where it's just like, hey, I'm interested. And she's like, yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to get to know you, but the season's just not right now. I'm not in that dating phase. And I got other things going on. So it's like, but it does one better because then at that point, I know I'm not wasting my time. Right? Because I think every time you get into the dating situation, there's a timer that goes off. For me, every time I'm like dating, there's a timer. It's like, if I'm going to invest my time into this, I got to invest. I got to be intentional. That doesn't mean I need a rush relationship. Doesn't mean I need to speed it, but I just need to be more intentional because my end goal as a Christian is that, right? Is marriage. Because other than that, what I have the viewpoint is I'm taking someone else's wife away from them, potential wife, right? And so I know it kind of comes off. I'm a salesman too. It's very like you go in there, close the deal, we move on. No, So part of me like I'm not that I treat relationships like sales. Huh?
It's like deal or no deal. Open the case.
Open the case. Ching. You win, you lose. Either or. I'm cool with it, God, because you're sovereign. But it's one of those things where I really, and by being intentional does not mean get serious and like I gotta. But it just means every conversation I have, it should be progressing us in a conversation to eventually be like, hey, do you potentially see a future with me and vice versa? Do our visions align? Where are you going in life? Where am I at in life? But that takes knowing people. How I've been taught by mentors of mine, not saying I've always followed this from mentors, But that being said, what I'm learning more and more is like, when you can have the perspective of whoever you're pursuing, you just want a great friendship with them, right? I feel personally like it will develop naturally into something more if that's what you're desiring, right? Unless, Paul, you're like, I'm gonna be celibate, I'm gonna pursue the single life. Yeah. If that's your thing, God bless you,
Yeah, you're dismissed. I'm just kidding.
You're dismissed. No, we love singles too. Hey, I'm single too, so I'm in the population too, but with the aspirations to have my own family someday. So it's like, it's one of those things where you want to learn that it starts with developing a friendship. Regardless of, I know when it comes to the nuances of what a girl's thinking, what a guy's thinking in like the approach, it's like, I think anyone who's approaching a relationship, guy or female, should go in with whoever I'm speaking to. If I can't sit down in a podcast like this and be comfortable and natural and talk with them and flow even, like probably not the person, I'm going to date. So I think when you can just get past it's an awkward type of interaction, more like, hey, I just want to get to know you better. Right, because marriage is going to be a continuation of getting to know it, and you're kind of locked in. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and do me a solid. Subscribe. Join the Faithful Breed family. We'd love to have you. If you have any comments, ideas, drop them down below. Until next time, ciao.